very big in the Saudi Arabian spam bot community.
I don't remember my episodes after I finish them.
I don't either.
Right.
Oh, people come up to you and be like, hey, you said the blah blah blah. I'm like, I did.
Yeah, because I can rewatch my own stuff and be like, this guy's amazing. So the most favorite of the things that I've talked about, my most favorite would have to be probably The Fountain, just because that is an unendingly gorgeous film that I could talk about forever, and actually I'm going to do a second episode on it just because there's even more I want to say about it. And the least favorite thing I have done a review on is a toss-up between having to watch all 3 Transformers films like 3 times each, or watching all of Cremaster 4 times.
So 8 hours. It's an 8 hour.
It's 7 hours 42 minutes of your life. If you are not familiar with this, it is so slow moving, so boring, just weird that I was actually watching the 3rd one at like 3 times speed. Like my VLC was set to fast forward for about 20 minutes. And I was sitting there like, I don't remember this being this well paced. This is actually interesting. It's like, oh, it's on fast forward.
I actually toyed the idea of doing something on Cremaster, but then he beat me to it. I don't think I can do it. It's a very long video art piece done by a guy who's currently married to Bjork. And it's a 7-hour metaphor about the descendants, the dropping of testicles, essentially.
Yeah.
Using that as a metaphor for the creative
differentiation of gonads into
yes.
testicles and then their descent into the scrotum.
And you can currently buy it on DVD for $150,000.
I heard someone was auctioning theirs for a slim 90,000. But it's only episode 2.
Favorite Angels of America, least favorite, Vaz de Noche, which I'm still mispronouncing, but it doesn't deserve proper pronunciation. So.
That's the pig fucking.
I love doing my top 10 best of the year. They're always my favorite episodes, so that's, I guess, any of those would be my favorite. The least favorite thing I've ever reviewed was way early on. It was only my 6th episode, something called Breakup. And
oh God! Everyone suddenly remembered it.
Slowly return. No, I remember, like, in my memory, I remember slamming on the brakes in my car once I heard that. I was like, what the hell am I listening to?
Who sang that?
Mario.
Mario. And then you remembered it. How are you doing, Ed?
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
And, well, yeah, and also, yeah, Ted Glazer.
Really? Seriously? What are you
Hey, if you haven't seen it, Ed also has a few excellent shows on Blip, including Deja Vu, which I'm a big fan of, and also Ninja the Mission Force, which is doing quite well.
What's it?
What's a ninja?
You guys.
All right.
You brought up an interesting point earlier about John Dies at the end. Recommending the film despite its flaws and the sort of thing that Hollywood doesn't do. Is there a line for you guys where maybe you would not recommend a film despite it not doing what Hollywood does, despite it having good intentions, being indie, people want to support indie, but...
Absolutely.
If it's boring and uninteresting.
Here's the thing with me, and maybe this is just me being like boring as a fan, but I have worked on enough goddamn worthless independent films that I don't differentiate between whether it's studio or indie or not. Just personally, because I don't know, just because it's not under the studio doesn't mean it's worthwhile. That said, the studios do impose a lot of really strict structures. So, you know, like you were saying, and do you have a counterpoint?
For me, the line really comes down to, it's more of a universal line for me as well, that if something is boring and uninteresting, but at the same time, John Dies at the End has that special breed of weird that you're never going to see. A woman explodes into snakes. There's a monster made out of meat.
Now you have
A doorknob turns into a penis, and the main characters basically annihilate an entire universe simply because they need to get their basketball back. You know, it goes off the beaten track in a way that is worth supporting. So that there is a level of independence. It's like, okay, there is a line for me where it's like, yes, it is worth supporting independent producers and creators because, like, if they're making interesting things that you wouldn't find elsewhere. I do not unilaterally support independent film because I have made really crappy independent stuff before. So.
Another thing is, you gotta bear in mind, most independent films, not most, but many, are funded by like trust fund babies. And so, yeah, they
Vanity projects.
Yeah, they're vanity projects. And so I think there's a reason why like the starving artist that is, you know, burdened with talent and a vision can't get his movie made, but some like, you know, rich dude in Park Avenue is all like, yeah, I got this script, let's do it.
Yeah.
And then no one ever hears it. It's terrible.
I read a review once who said something that I completely agree with. It was something like, I hate bad Hollywood movies, but I hate bad indie movies. He was saying that about We Are the Strange, which you reviewed. Like, there's, you know, he said something like, you know, like, I used to believe that anything strange was like, that was something valuable on its own, and then I watched Weird and the Strange, and I think I've been fully disabused of that notion. Like, you know, sometimes you see films like that take huge chances, and there's something in that, but sometimes it fails horribly, and not in a good way, or an interesting way, or a useful way. Sometimes it just fucking sucks.
I actually probably will not tell anyone not to watch a movie. Because, I mean, pretty much everything I look at has some kind of, I can find some nugget of value in it, even if it's like a sliver. So, I mean, anything that I reviewed, I encourage you all to watch, honestly. Go see Trash Humpers. I'm serious. Trash Humpers is a brilliant horror film. I'm serious. Those images stick with you. It is a terrifying thing. It succeeds in what it sets out to do. It is a unique vision that really will not leave you. It's
Trash.
Well, actually, apparently the original, I didn't find this out until I finished the review, but apparently he wanted to just leave VHS tapes of a movie lying on sidewalks. The idea being, you know, people would find it, watch, and then go through the whole thing. My God, these people, they exist. Then he realized he couldn't keep copyright on it, so he scrapped that idea. But I will never not recommend a movie because, you know, I appreciate hard work, even if that hard work is of a baseless vision. Don't use it as test. Watch it, don't pay for it.
No, I'll actually go with Kyle on this. I will watch anything once. You know, because you never know what's going to happen. Like, you can't say this is going to be completely useless if you haven't experienced it. So, and everything has something useful to say, or maybe not useful, but worth thinking about, even if the writers didn't think about it very hard and they failed horribly. Even that's instructive in its own right.
Yeah, I feel like we've all been very inspired by the works of Michael Bay.
I think even the worst movies have value as an example of what not to do. You can still learn from them.
I wasn't kidding, by the way. We've had very, very long conversations about that franchise.
We're going to keep milking that.
I have thought more about Transformers, Twilight, or Avatar than anything I've actually enjoyed.
Count Chocula.
Yeah, there's a terrible webcomic that I read that I'm not going to name just because I don't want you to look at it ever. But like I've just become addicted to it every single day. Like just day by day, I keep looking at it. It's like I didn't say anything. And you know, it's just what like every time I look at it, it's like, wow, this just keeps getting worse and worse, and I just can't look away. But I found it very useful. I understand more about comics now than I ever did.